Hi, I'm Johnny Mockney. It's late February right now, and this is my first video for my global learning project, for my initial reflection and plan. I was raised in my father was a American-born man with a Polish background, John Mockney. He has the same name as me. My mom was born in Thailand, and she came to the U.S. when she was 8 years old. So now she's more or less generally uh, has become American in pretty much every way. There's and she also cooks a lot of Thai food. But besides that, I've had a fairly normal uh, regular Midwestern family. Grew up Catholic. Um, we moved to a few places throughout my life. To Texas, and then Illinois, and then Mississippi, and then Thailand for a little bit, for about 2 years, and then came back to Tennessee for a couple of months, and then finally ended up in Okemos, Michigan, where I finished out high school. In terms of how my cultural background makes me who I am now, I was, growing up with a Michigan born dad and an extended family on his side. I grew up fairly Midwestern way. I grew up hunting and fishing and all of that stuff. Related to education, my beliefs are fairly based on just the kind of education I've had in public schools and in the time I spent in a private school in Thailand, which is uh, I believe in a hands-on experience, generally speaking, because I having experienced, the kinds of schools where it's very based on you read the book and then you recite the information, and then having been in Thailand where with the smaller classes and teachers being able to interact more directly with you, I think that was a more rewarding experience, and that's kind of the experience that I, as an instructor, would always like to strive for. In terms of how this would differ from somebody, I think that there are many other people who have had strong learning experiences from just purely from spectating, and that'd be an interesting thing to find out is how different cultures uh, perceive what the proper way to learn is. So, I'm planning on interacting with an international student named Remy. Goes to Michigan State. He is from the Ivory Coast in West Africa. I haven't met him before. Um, Culturally, I think he is likely to be different from me. I've never been to any part of Africa before. I know very little about African culture of any part of Africa. Um, I've met one or two people from South Africa, and that's pretty much it. So, in terms of how it could be culturally different from me, I think there's endless possibilities, really. Um, in that his upbringing, and I don't definitely don't want to generalize, but if the upbringing in West Africa tends to be more conservative or more liberal or more hands on or more I don't know. So that's what I'm interested in finding out. My cultural comfort zone is pretty loose. I don't think I have a very small cultural comfort zone because I've lived in quite a few places. But I mean, I can definitely see that. I think a major part of communication tends to be like lingo or a sense of humor or little things that depend on prior knowledge or prior in understand a mutual understanding on a way of speaking and things like that. And I've had problems sometimes communicating even with like British people based on s- s- how our sense of humor or how we um, articulate an idea, I guess. Um, so that could be, I think that's the major difficulty I'm thinking of right now, which isn't even a big one. But in communicating with Remy. But in terms of the cultural comfort zone, I think that's it in terms of uh, what could possibly differ us or make me be a little more on guard, I guess. From my two interactions with Remy, my general plan is that I want us to both be in a very relaxed environment and to feel comfortable. I don't want to treat it like homework or like a project. I want to treat it like I'm putting him on the spot or me on the spot, or I'm like, because I think that that's how you get false interaction, or you don't get real human interaction by putting so much scrutiny on it. So I think if I put us in a place and just treat it like a recorded conversation with guidelines, obviously, and to I think that I think that can maximize our learning and that we're gonna get 100% of each other, hopefully. Um, in neither of us necessarily acting for a camera or for a project and just genuine just talking like people. um, I think will be very advantageous to the learning process. I look forward to talking to Remy and to finding out more about his culture and how he perceives learning, particularly, and because in the end, can that kind of thing is what would help me as a potential instructor too. Because what one person might see as the best idea, which I have an idea of what I think is the best idea, very well might not be, depending on who you talk to and how other people have succeeded. Always helps. So that's all. Until next time.